Okay, you're connected into somebody today who is talking about you to friends, possibly family. Okay, what I'm going to look at today is, are they genuine? And the reason is, when I shuffled, this card came out in the middle. Now, they're talking about the mistakes they made, but this card still has an energy that they feel misunderstood, that they're a bit of a victim kind of energy. And then the other card that came out was the karmic friends. So I'm not totally convinced that you even trust this friend group. Okay, so by the end of this reading, we will have clarified whether they genuinely feel they've made a mistake regarding your relationship, or they are just in victim mode and it's false. Okay, I feel that's where I'm going to go today. So they all, the creeping cards come out, so they're kind of creeping around in your energy. Even if they're not in your physical energy, you feel this person's energy for whatever reason. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to clarify today, are they genuinely remorseful? Okay, or are they talking about you to these friends to get sympathy? Are they just sitting in victim mode? Because I feel that when you separated, they did play the victim. Okay, I think they regret some of the things that they've said and done, especially when you separated. That's what I'm trying to say. When you separated, they basically said things about you that were not truthful. Okay, they were not truthful, and you do not have a good feeling around a certain group of people, or possibly one person. So let's get shuffling. Just while I shuffle out, I hope you're okay. I hope you're well. Thanks for your support. If you're new here, if you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button, that would be lovely. If you want to see more content, if you'd like a reading, just click on the title of the video. Links are below in the description box. Everything's on the website. Go check it out, and also check out the free relationship report. Oh, that wanted to come out. And the main thing, as I always say, as long as you're okay. All right, but we're going to have a little peek today. A little peek. Let's turn these over. Okay, 3 there, 3 here. Let's see what's going on. Obsession. They're becoming obsessed with you, which is clarifying the creeping card. So yes, they are, I feel, addicted to you in some shape or form, because you're not really showing much interest. Okay. You feel let down by this person, very badly let down, especially because they put a lot of energy and nonsense was said with this group here. Okay, so yeah, they are hanging out, they're hanging in there, they're not letting go. Middle card, thinking, missing you, craving you, desiring you. Okay, that I feel is what I feel they're talking about that to this group of friends, but again, by the end of the reading, I'm going to say to you, yeah, they're genuine, or no, they're still in that victim mode energy. Okay, because if they bring, excuse me, if they bring that energy back in, then at some point, and I know it's hard to say, but at some point with these cards, if they bring that victim energy back into, say, a possible reconciliation, or even just a chat, they're going to really irritate you, okay, because you've seen straight through their previous games. And also, they're going to have a repeat of something. They're going to repeat something they did in the past. That's what I'm hearing. Last card, please. Oh, dear me, excuse me, excuse me. They're hoping and expecting that these friends, who I don't think you completely trust, are going to help them get back in touch with you so that they can speak to you. So that's what we've got at the moment. Okay, let me just get this little deck out and see what... I want 3 of these now, please. 1, and I'll turn them over in a minute. 2, 3. Let's line these up. Oh gosh. Spreading rumours, gossiping. Okay, that's what this group of friends, red flagged. You know, this... Okay, so the red flag card, warning signs, take heed, risky situation. In other words, and it's clarifying this card, which is the one that says they are playing the victim, the lost soul. Woe is me. None of it was my fault. Please speak to my ex because I really want them back. However, you know, it wasn't all my fault. Okay, that is clarifying that. So we're kind of part way there with our answer today, I feel. But we're going to dig a little bit deeper because we're going to see what they're going to do. Okay. Karmic friends, let's see what's clarifying that. Okay. So this group of friends is clarified by surface pleasures, alcohol, party animals, people that were particularly good for you or your relationship with this person. Okay, fair weather friends, fair weather friends, the turncoats, that's what I'm hearing. And I'm seeing you talking to them with problems, etc., and them taking your side or whatever went down here, and then bump in your person's ear. Exactly the same thing. Okay, they are fair weather friends. If this was me, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, they're not really to be trusted. I think the energy here is a little bit suspect. I do feel that your person is going to play the victim at some point during a conversation they will have with you. If you accept a conversation with them, you can just completely ignore them. You know, you don't have to get embroiled back into this energy. You know, I feel that they will say that they're thinking of you, they're missing you, they're craving you, they adore you, and all of this. Okay, but there is an element of this friend group who are nosy, they spread rumours and they gossip. And right at the bottom, I'll show you that again, and that's the only card in that deck that actually gives that message. Okay, so Spirit today, because I'm asking the question, is this actually honest, or is this just a pack of lies, really? You know, I feel we're leaning to more towards the pack of lies. Let's see what's going on in their environment that's triggering them. Okay, why they're getting obsessed with you? What's gone wrong? Because something has. Okay, right. Yeah, they have got themselves in a situation with another person. It's a court card, but in the reverse, this other person could be Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus. It is actually the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. So it is a person. It could be another relationship. It could be a mother, sister, cousin, friend. Okay, but the situation they're in now isn't stable. This person they're connected into has lied to them in some shape or form. There's just a total instability in their own environment. And interestingly enough, the Four of Swords has come up in the reverse in their environment. So I feel that because of this other person's energy, it's not working out. Somebody is neglecting their responsibilities, that your person has now decided with the Four of Swords in the reverse to look back at the breakup, possibly a third party situation, the disappointment and the pain, and think, you know what, I'm going to try contacting you again. I'm going to throw my dice into the pot. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, I'm going to throw my dice into the pot, but before I do, I'm going to talk to this friend group and see what they know, or maybe they can find something out. So my message really today is, if this is your reading, don't take it, don't make it resonate if it's not, okay? But if you do have joint friends or somebody that you still speak to that knows your person, and you've had a feeling, you know, do I trust them, don't I? You know, keep your cards close to your chest. That, I feel, is the advice that I'm hearing. Keep those cards pretty close to your chest. You don't owe anyone an explanation as well. That's what I've just heard. You don't owe anybody an explanation. Now, going back to this Four of Swords in the reverse, it means that, you know, it can be a coming out of isolation card, and really it just means that your ex is going to pop back out of the woodwork, okay? Because what you don't know, the unknown, what they want to say to you, is the bottom of the deck is the Lover's card, okay? So they're hoping that by communicating with you that you might be interested in reconciling, okay? I'm not so sure if you would. Top of the deck, no. I find the High Priestess is at the top, right? So your intuition about any messages regarding reconciliation, etc., will be blaring like, I don't know, a foghorn on a transatlantic liner. It's just going to be going off. Listen to your intuition. And also, for me personally, when the High Priestess comes out, it's like, it's one of those cards in tarot where it doesn't actually give you an answer, but it does quantify that whatever spidery feelings you're getting. You know, sometimes just for a few seconds you think, God, do I do that? I'm not sure about that. And then you think, no, this person's fine. And you bury it. This card is saying, listen to your intuition. There is going to be more that will be revealed, okay? There are things that are yet to be revealed. And I feel the message for you, it is specific, but it's linked into this group of friends that weren't the best influence. Let's put it nicely, okay? And then the energy of your ex, who is thinking of you, missing you, but I still feel they're going to bring this energy of lost soul in, okay? And I feel part of the reason is wherever they went with this earth sign, majorly female energy, that isn't working out, okay? That is on its head, it's unstable, it's not grounded, it's just messy. All right, so let me just have one more on their environment, please. Yeah, now what they have been projecting to you is that they are happy, they are grounded, they've moved, they're happy, they're living happily ever after, okay? You know, this card is one of comfort, it's one of, oh yeah, I'm doing okay, I've settled down, you know, teamwork, success, prosperity. However, now this has come out, it's the Four of Wands, right? But with these other cards, I feel that there is going to be something revealed about the environment they're in, okay? Now with the Four of Swords upended and the Four of Wands, that tells me that they are feeling mentally restless, okay? They're physically and energetically where they're planted, but on a mental level, they're not there, okay? They're trying to work out a way through these friends, through some gossip, through some, you know, watching what people are doing, how they can speak to you, okay? But I do feel that your person is somebody who is always juggling options. And I know it's a bit blunt, don't shoot the messenger, but their energies also come out as the Seven of Cups, okay? They procrastinate at times. They have a lot of wishful thinking. Yeah. They fight they fight a lot as well. You know, they will argue that, I'll just use an example, that red is green when it's obviously it's red. And there's no talking to them. There's no talking to them. And then when they can't win, they project it back onto you or other people and then act like the victim. So are they going to try and contact you? Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. They're going to use this friend group, okay? 6 of Cups. So yeah, they're looking back at the past. I don't think they've grown though. I feel that they'd come back in and they'd want everything to still be the status quo with that victim card and the 6 of Cups. That we'll all go back just how it was and I'll just be how I was. But that's not enough for you now. You're not enough for you. You not that you want more than that. I mean, you are more than that. You're worthy of more than that. You know, you're the best thing that ever happened to anybody. So I just feel that they want that comfort back because it's arse-ended, excuse my French, with that 4 of Wands, but in a negative energy. It's not worked out. They're feeling, you know, like restricted, homesick. They're homesick for a past that they had with you, okay? But in some ways, it's like they didn't let you be you, really, if that makes sense. You know, they want that simplicity of life, but I feel they've still got quite a childish energy, okay? You know, the 4 of Wands in a negative energy can just mean unhappy families. It can mean someone's feeling really trapped. So I feel that is what is going to happen with this, okay? Let me just get this tarot deck out before we finish this out. Yeah. Okay. I think for you, you know, we've got the 7 of Pentacles, so you maybe considered it with the 7 of Pentacles, but I think for you now, you will be looking at everything you put into it in the past and what your return of investment was, because your energy is your currency, okay? Like electrical current, it's energy. That's why money is called currency. It's your energy. So you're looking at what you invested. You know, you're thinking, well, hang on a minute. I put this, this and this in. I got it all the way to a number 7 and I did all of this. And I feel that you're in the hermit energy, but I don't feel you're feeling lonely. I feel you're just quite happy actually working out who you are. You're preparing for a big change this year and it is going to come, okay? The wheel is going to turn. All right, and the outcome for this energy, 3rd card, is the 9 of Swords. You know, I feel that you'll look at it, and it's okay if part of you reminisces. We all do that if we're honest. But I think you've done such a lot of healing and introspection, and this isn't always about being lonely. You've just gone within. Okay, you've realised self-love, who you are, and I feel that when you're thinking about it, it actually gives you anxiety, just the thought of it. Now, as an outcome, is it going to work with the 9 of Swords? No, not really. It will just cause sleepless nights, anxiety. You know, you just have to look at the card, okay? And the reason is because I feel, before I wrap this up, that however they start, they will eventually flip back to being misunderstood, and this will seep, okay? This card, sipping, it will just start seeping back in, okay? And then we will end up back in the 9 of Swords energy. So there you go, pretty blunt, pretty to the point, but remember who you are, okay? Always remember that. Yeah, you're amazing. Yeah, this one actually, this is really, this card yin yang is, remember that you're both sides to the coin, and it's clarified by illusion. Avoid the trap of mistaking fantasy for a true soul connection. So But no shade there. I mean, I think we've all done that. I think we've all done that. But anyway, take care. Remember who you are, okay? You're an absolute legend. You're worthy. You're gorgeous. You're wonderful. All right? And I love you very much. Look after you. Speak soon. Bye.